Yep. Welcome everyone. Today is the inaugural session, and this session is for the FHIR Basics learning program that we are initiating as a FHIR India community. This is session zero. Session zero is all about background, all the how do we attend, or how do we make sense, or how do we get the best out of the sessions. This session is about that. So this is a session about the sessions. You can think of that way. Just all right. I think for new people, the registration is not happening. The Zoom registration looks like. So if you have the meeting ID, please share in the group. Okay. So going forward, next. So some housekeeping rules before we get started. The first thing is all the participants, please be on mute while entering and while be on the session. In the Zoom, please put in your full name so that we can know who is asking the question, who is joining, and all. Please feel free to use Zoom chat to ask any questions. So we have enough of our team members to answer the chat queries. Okay. If you have any follow-up discussions or if you have longer discussions to do, please follow up it on Zulip. In case you have not yet registered on Zulip, or in case you have not yet joined Zulip, please scan the QR code. I'll pause for a minute. Please scan the QR code and join the Zulip. Because Zulip will be our discussion forum, and going forward, all the important communications will be communicated on Zulip. So I'm taking a pause for a minute. Please go ahead and get yourself signed up to Zulip if you have not already done it.
Hi, Satyam. Good evening.
Good evening. Hi. So now, since Dr. Chandil is there, what we will do is we will just talk a little bit about HL7 India, its mission vision, because HL7 India is the sponsor for this particular initiative. And so this initiative that is led by FHIR India Community is supported by HL7 India. So over to you, Dr. Chandil. I am sharing this. You can talk on it.
Yeah, thank you so much, Satyam. Good evening to everybody. I think I should first thank Satyam for putting up a wonderful event just before the elections in Bangalore. I think we'll have to remember the elections because of FHIR meeting and remember the FHIR meeting because of the elections. So as Satyam told, we are an affiliate of HL7 International. You all know about HL7 International. This is a body which has been in existence for about 40 years and trying to propagate standards for interoperability in healthcare. And as an affiliate, we are 22 years old. We are a very vibrant, one of the very vibrant affiliates across the world. We have 74 affiliates as of date. Two more are joining this week. Ecuador as well as Central America are the two new countries which will take it closer to 100 in the days to come. And as a part of our Prima mission is to encourage interoperability standards for in healthcare. And this will propagate, in turn, global interoperability and data standards and standardization for better clinical outputs and ensuring good patient care. We all keep discussing, though it is all about data and it's about information technology, the ultimate goal is what is good for the patient and what is good for healthcare system globally. So we have been trying to kind of get a community building exercise wherein we want more and more people to get imbibed into standards development, standards adoption, and discussion about standards utilization as well. Satyam has been spearheading FHIR since the last 4 years. We have made roadshows in Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, Pune. We intend to restart those, and some of you have been part of the Connectathon which we have been doing for the last 3-4 years, which we also intend to do in this year. Next slide, Satyam. So as a part of FHIR, I think this is one of the foundation webinars which will propagate more awareness on what is FHIR, how to use FHIR, and what is happening in FHIR community. So in terms of structure, we are a Section 25 independent, not-for-profit membership-based organization. And as I said, we support the development, promotion, and implementation of HL7 standards in the country and help with so many organizations which are providing the same globally. Next slide, please, Satyam. So these are our coordinates, and this is the link. With this, I don't want to take much of the time. The intent is to get imbibed with FHIR and start moving. Over to you, Satyam. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Chalgil. Thank you for supporting the initiative. Thanks. So HL7 India, as you know, is one of the oldest affiliates, and it's one of the affiliates which is promoting, trying to spearhead HL7 adoption within the country. Okay, with that, we move to the next session, that is FHIR India Community. So FHIR India Community is an informal community of HL7 FHIR and interoperability enthusiasts. Right, so this is a community where where people, irrespective of their allegiance to any company, any standard, anything, they can come together and discuss about interoperability, specifically about FHIR, try to build solutions, solve solution, learn, do whatever it is, right? And we have some social media coordinates that you can use while you are in the community. The first thing is, if you're talking about the community, please use the hashtag FHIR India. That way we will be able to tag all the entries that are there, and we'll be able to view those. Now, there is a LinkedIn group that is there, and you can scan the QR code that is there on the right. I'll again take a pause of 30 seconds. If people have not joined the LinkedIn group yet, please scan the QR code and join the LinkedIn group because that is another important coordinate where the community interacts. So please take 30 seconds and join. I'll take a pause for 30 seconds before I move next. All right. So hope you have all been able to either join by the URL or join by the QR code. Now, in case you want to know more about what is the community, what exactly it does. So what I have done is I have just penned down about the community, what is it, how to join, how to interact, how to take part in an article that is given here. And this article is also posted on Zulip, so you can take time and review it, and also try to pitch in. And we are welcoming new members so that we can have a new vibrant community. Next, okay. So next, now, why this initiative, right? So that is very important to know the why behind whatever we are doing, right? So why this initiative? What was the need for this initiative? So as we see, and this was an observation across multiple community members, across multiple people that we interacted with, right? The first thing was FHIR is a free standard and everyone knows about it. And there are plenty of online resources available, right? So if you go to YouTube, you just do a search, FHIR learning on Google, you'll get plenty of resources. But still, as a beginner, navigating them, making sense of them, or how to make them structured, how to navigate from one to other, right, is challenging. And that was a challenge that came to us again and again, where people, new joinees, wanted to know like what next, how to do it. Okay. So we thought, let's have an initiative, let's have a learning program which takes care of folks getting started into FHIR, right? That was the genesis of it, right? Then we also want to spread the awareness of FHIR and build the community. So that's the alternate goal. And why it is important for you to learn FHIR, because FHIR is becoming, if you are in healthcare IT, or if you are in becoming, you are in healthcare, health tech, if you are talking to more than one healthcare systems, right? Sooner or later, you are going to hear and interact with HL7 FHIR. HL7 FHIR is a rapidly growing standard across the world. It has become the de facto exchange standard by regulation in certain countries. Even in India, Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission and Health Claims Exchange talk about using FHIR for data exchange. So it is very, very important for anyone who is in healthcare IT to understand the role of FHIR, the fundamentals of FHIR, and how FHIR can help you. So these were the thoughts. With that, we said, like, let's have a dedicated FHIR basics learning program. So now, how did we design this? So first of all, the first thing that we said was, like, it would be community driven. So it would be like a group of volunteers coming together to organize and run this learning program. So it is a community driven, where anyone who is interested to collaborate, even now, even today, can join us, can tell us that they want to help in this way, and it will be useful for the sessions, right? Our focus is only on getting started. So we are trying to make sure that the people who have uh, zero knowledge on FHIR, or people who are just started on FHIR, how to get them started. That's our focus. Okay, understand the important concepts, enable or create a culture of continuous learning. Okay, so that's the thought behind how did we design the course. Okay, please, we are marking a disclaimer saying that this is a community initiative, right? This training in no way substitutes any of the official trainings provided by HL7. So if you think that, okay, I have taken the community learning and I don't want to get into the HL7 international training or anything like that, we are saying it's not a substitute. You will learn here. It's up to you to decide what to do next, right? So this training in no way acts as or claims to be a substitute of any other official training provided. All right. So what are the objectives? So at the end of the course, by the end of the course, you should be able to articulate the benefits and the purpose of FHIR. That's number one. The second thing, you should be able to understand the key concepts of FHIR, key components of FHIR. You should be able to access and utilize the relevant FHIR documentation. So FHIR documentation that is online, at the end of the course, you should be able to easily navigate through the FHIR documentation. You should be able to easily make sense of the sections, the terminologies, everything that is used. And then last but not the least, you should be able to apply FHIR into your day-to-day healthcare challenges that you are having, and say, like, how FHIR fits it and how to use FHIR to solve your data challenges, right? So ultimately, this training intends to be the foundation from which you can jump ahead in your interoperability journey. That's the intent. Okay. Now the course layout, how the course will be, and what to expect in the course. Okay. So it will be over 10 to 12 hours of learning over 4 weekends. So we got a lot of feedback that weekdays do not work for majority of the people. So we are putting the course on the weekends. So it will be 4 weekends, 10 to 12 hours, 3 hours per weekend. It will include both practical and theory. And then there will be certain extra. So there are certain volunteers, certain experts who have volunteered to take special sessions focused on, say, terminology, focused on FHIR path, focused on implementing FHIR as a FHIR server. Those specialized topics will be taken through the week. And if you are interested, if it suits your need, you can join them, right? All the sessions will be on Zoom and all the discussions will be on Zoom. So this is the delivery layout. Okay. So the first session, session 01, that is Introduction to FHIR, is on Saturday the 27th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., 2 hours. Okay. And it will cover the Introduction to FHIR. The session will be conducted by me, Satyam. It will be on Zoom. Okay. The coordinates are here. It will be also shared on the Zulip, but if you are already here, you can just scan and register. Okay. So I'll take a pause here, and then I will transition into the next part of the session or the next part of the curriculum. So I'll just pause for 30 seconds so that you are able to register. Okay. So the entire
Could you
curriculum.
please reverse the slide? I haven't taken the snap. I need to. We have to again register it if I'm wrong.
Okay. It's here. Okay. So all these sessions that we are doing is the content of these are based on our experience, and the sessions borrow heavily from the presentations that are made by the FHIR community, especially Graham, Lloyd, Wood, and David, right? So just keep in mind that, okay? So anything that we are doing is a combination of the community effort that has already been put a part of FHIR and also the experience that we bring it to the table. With that, we move to the next section. And the next section is about a short introduction on interoperability and HL7. Okay, so this will be covered by my colleague Arun and supported by JP. Okay, so over to you, Arun and JP. And prior to that, I'll just thank my volunteers. Dr. JP, Arun, Selva Kumar have been part of this organizing team, and they have worked a couple of days very hard to just get things in order. And still we are not able to get all the things in order right now, but I hope by end of this week, we should have everything in order. And our request to all the participants is, please accept any invite that is sent to you for Google Groups or for Zulip so that our communication becomes easy. Okay. With that, over to you, Arun.
Thanks, Satyam. In addition to Google Groups and as well as Zulip, we have been trying to get in touch with you over WhatsApp. I have tried to send across messages to a lot of you. Please do accept that so that we can put you as part of the WhatsApp community too. Okay. One small request, please refrain from putting tick marks or any kind of annotations on the presentation. Okay, it's kind of disturbing. So thanks. So Satyam, next slide, please. Like my colleague Dr. Chandil mentioned, it's quite an old organization. HL7 International was founded in the year 1987. It's a not-for-profit ANSI accredited development organization. So many of us do get confused between the standard and as well as the organization. The organization is HL7 or Health Level 7 International, and the India counterpart is HL7 India, right? And why it has to be accredited to ANSI is way back that time when anybody could have created a standard, it had to be accredited with American National Standards Institute. This was way before the other accreditation organizations came in. What does HL7 do? It basically develops standards. Standards for what? Standards for exchanging, integration, sharing, and retrieval of electronic health information. So one has to understand that back in 1987, the cost of storage and transmission of each and every byte was very, very exorbitant. And coming to today, where we are having a call over Zoom, where the average utilization of bandwidth is close to 500 megabytes per hour. So we have come a long, long way from when the standard started and to where we are. Next slide, please. So let us talk about evolution of healthcare standards itself. It was way back in 1960s that the first known healthcare IT system was developed, right? And that was a time of mainframes. And those 60s were transitioned to 70s and to 80s. I still remember a few years ago integrating systems that were installed in 1980s, which run on mainframes. They still continue to run, right? So that is a kind of system longevity that is there within the healthcare domain. So it was in 1989 that HL7V2, as what we know today, was released for enterprise-wide interoperability. HL7V2 started and continues to be a balloted-based approach. So if anything has to be get added into the standard, it is recommended by a set of panelists and it goes into voting. And only when it is voted, things are adopted into the standard. In 2003, HL7V3 was created basically to have data workflows between various providers. And as part of V3, the CDA was released. While V3 itself is considered as not a success, the what came out of V3, which is CDA and CCDA, which is clinical documentation architecture, continues to be used even today also. I will talk about CDA in the upcoming slide. It was in 2014 that HL7 FHIR was launched using web standards. So coming from 80s, where each and every byte and bit was expensive, to today, where storage and communication costs are not bothered, we have come, the standards has evolved along the way. Next slide, please. So what are the various standards from HL7 stable? Of course, the most common standard that all of us may understand or hear of is called as HL7V2. The HL7V2 is the most widely and implemented standard across the world. It continues to be the workhorse across the world within exchanging of data within the clinical domain. Next came CDA. CDA is a document markup standard that specifies the semantics of clinical documents. Now, one may argue, what is the difference between V2 and CDA? Is it just that V2 is a bunch of characters and CDA is XML? No. One of the important thing one needs to remember is while V2 is for transactions, CDA is for documents, and both are not equal. If you take a case of an inpatient episode, there may be several hundreds or even thousands of transactions that may have occurred. But these hundreds and thousands of transactions are distilled into 1 or 2 or 3 page discharge summary. That is the human mental effort that is there that comes as part of CDA. And hence, in many cases, both HL7V2 and CDA are referred as part of patient 360. Moving on to the fourth standard, which is called as Arden syntax. Arden syntax is a standardized language for MLMs. MLM stands for medical logic modules. Medical logic modules, what it specifies is that for doctors and nurses, right, there are various orders that needs to be placed or notifications that needs to happen basis logic. One common logic that we can say is that if patient's temperature goes beyond 100 degrees Fahrenheit, then give some kind of medications, right? Now, that is a simple logic. Now, there are much more complex logic that are involved, which can be used within medicine. Arden syntax allows you to create standardized rules using for MLMs. Another very interesting standard is called as CCOW. CCOW actually stands for clinical context switching. But this is way way old standard, right? Now, as healthcare systems started developing, what happened was disparate systems started coming up. And at one point in time, doctors had to have more than 20 to 25 systems that they need to operate. So the clinical context switching, how it was created is that the doctor logs in into one CCOW, into one application, and then the context is switched when you open, when the next application is opened. So when the next application is opened, since the doctor has already logged in, selected a patient, and then if let's say has selected a particular encounter, these steps has to be transitioned just on a click of a button. Now, this context switching in various parts within FHIR also is being converted, is now called as SSO, both for context switching, basically for context switching, and as well as for single sign-on. So version 1.6 of CCOW was balloted as a normative standard in 2017, and now we are in 2024, thinking of replacing CCOW with a SSO and Smart on FHIR. Next slide, please. Now, this is for persons who are coming to healthcare standards for the first time. This is how a V2 message looks like. Now, just to remind back, this is how the data had to be transmitted in 1980s, where every single bit and byte was very, very expensive. It used to cost a few dollars, I believe, right? And that's the reason why only the data used to be transmitted as a set of delimited text. Now, from there, let us move on to the next slide to understand how CDA is. Now, by the time V3 was introduced, XML was already in vogue. The concept of start tags, end tags, in-between tags, properties of a tag, everything was already in place. So V3 did use, V3 emphasized on usage of XML. Next, please. Like I mentioned, the output of XML was CDA or CCDA. This is one example of how a consultation note can look like. If a consultation note in its entirety has to be sent, it has a header, it has it'll have a body, and the body is going to have sections. The sections can contain the soap notes, it can contain lab orders, medications, so on and so forth. So this is an XML representation of a document. Wherever I have taken images from other websites, I have clearly mentioned the source from where it has been taken. Let me, next slide, please. Let us now try to understand, okay, fine, these standards are there, but where and how these standards are actually used. The ecosystem of healthcare integration. Next slide, please. What started as an inter-department data transfer in 1980s went on to get evolved into inter-company. The top one is the inter-department, where you can see an EMR, LIS, and as well as an analyzer. Where between EMR and LIS, we continue to use HL7V2 standards, but between the LIS and analyzer is ASTM standard, which is kind of offset of the HL7V2 standards itself. From there, it evolved into an intercompany standard. Persons who are coming from the healthcare background will surely understand the 3 Ps, the patient, payer, and as well as provider. So payer-provider interactions then became common, and after which, in the last 10-15 years, it's a community-based healthcare interoperability. Now, what you are seeing is it has evolved even further to become nationwide. So, to get more clarity, I will pass on the baton to my colleague, Dr. JP Patnaik. Over to you, JP.
Thank you, Arun, and very good evening to everyone.
Before I have a question. So thanks, Arun. So on Zulip, there is a quiz that is posted. So I would want all the participants to take a moment and take that quiz, because that quiz answers some of the questions, and we'll also understand like where as collective knowledge right, the group has, right? So that we can baseline our delivery that way, right? So take 1 minute. It will not take even 1 minute to take the quiz. It's on Zulip. It's in the general channel that I have just posted. The topic is
here also.
Huh?
Yeah, we can post that link on the message also. That would be
yeah,
good.
You can post on the message also. Yes. So Silva Kumar or somebody, if you can post here, it'll be good. Yeah, over to you, JP.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Satyam and Arun. Can you go to the next slide, please? It was good to see, we got to know that around 15 to 20% of the participants are from non-healthcare background and joining this program. That's quite interesting and good that people are have an interest in healthcare. So which further motivates us. So let's understand those who are new to healthcare, and I'm sure anybody and everybody have encountered some sort of healthcare interactions in our day-to-day life. So assume what happens, let's say self or anyone in the family want some healthcare service. So what we do, typically we first visit the nearest physician probably, right? If you can go to the next slide. Or, yeah. So typically we visit the physician next to us. Physician carries out some checks and probably ask for some investigations if needed. Then he refers us to some diagnostic center where we get the investigations done. Then, based on the need, again, some medication for pharmacy, you have to go. So what happens again, after looking at all these things, the physician might think you need admission, or you might need further management. So hence you have to go to a hospital for admission. See what happens in this small process. You met a physician, you met a lab, right? These are all different healthcare entities. You went to a pharmacy, then again another tertiary care hospital or so. So in healthcare, there are many stakeholders, but acting on the same subject, which is the patient, right? So it needs all the healthcare services needs, as you can see, needs coordination among all the stakeholders. There are multiple stakeholders, and it needs to be in timely manner and more importantly, accurately, right? So hence, there is a need for a robust communication channel which can optimize all this workflow. What happens, like you go to many doctors, you get many prescriptions, the investigations are duplicated, the medications are duplicated, and so on, right? So here is a need, like all of us need to speak a common language so that these processes, at the same time, the procedures, everything are being optimized. Can you go to the next slide? So what are the challenges today? We just talked about multiple stakeholders, acting on a same subject or patient. Our health systems are still disparate in the sense all are functioning in silo. What a lab is doing is not known to the physician or the pharmacy, right? Only mode of uh, exchange or discussion is the prescription being sent out, right? There is a lack of semantic interoperability. The exchange of patient information is difficult. The data privacy and security, all these are challenged today, right? Then we also have to comply to the health standards. It also impacts the experience of both the provider. A physician who is well informed about patients A to G, right, can probably do better. It also impacts the patient experience. Imagine the duplications happen in entire journey. I'm told somewhere that if a patient is admitted for 3 4 days in a hospital, at least 100 plus times his name is asked. What is your name? Only this simple question. And again, it becomes extremely difficult to measure the health outcome. What was the input? What was the output? So these are some of the challenges, and the list goes on. It's pretty exhaustive. But having said that, what's happening now? Can you move to the next one? Yeah, here. As you can see, there is a time, when the healthcare services started, probably, the focus is more on physician centric or the finance centric, the billing centric. But what is happening over the period, all organizations are becoming more patient-centric in the sense all activities, everything is revolving around the patient, right? So that's where the need for this interoperability is much more today. As you can see here, patient is there in the center. A lot of activities, multiple stakeholders, uh, all are collecting or creating tons of data for the patient. But only thing they are all happening in silo. We need to stitch them together. Yeah, next one, please. Yeah. So, see what FHIR does, and we will discuss more as we progress in this course. FHIR has many clinical use cases which almost supports all the workflows of it, right from the appointment scheduling till till the patient is discharged, like the physician office visit, entire patient care, you name anything. Almost all the clinical use cases are handled by FHIR. So we'll see the resource list in next session in introduction chapter. So there is a section for all the clinical use cases, and we'll build our models using these clinical resources. Yeah, Satyam, over to you, and probably like if we have anything else, or like we can take few questions.
Thanks, JP. To add, by the way, JP, you forgot to introduce yourself. So if you can have 1 minute of introduction of yours, what do you
Yeah,
do?
I'm actually one of the initial members of HL7 India. We ran the HL7 e-learning program for quite some years. Then, of course, life took a different turn. But yeah, happy to get back to the FHIR India community and contribute to the community. Part of the United Health Group, driving the FHIR interoperability standard training and other initiatives in the organization. That's in brief.
Thanks, JP. And we also have a clinician of repute and who is like well versed into health IT, right? Dr. Suman Bhattacharya, SBB, as we call him. Sir, if you are online and if you can hear us, if you can put your perspective on the role of interoperability and how standards play, that will be good, sir.
Okay, thank you, Satyam, and a brief introduction about myself. I know JP, of course. We are all acquaintances. I'm a health informatics expert and currently an adjunct professor at Chitkara University. I teach data standards and interoperability to MBA healthcare IT students over there. I'm off and on practicing general practitioner. I'm a medical doctor myself, a graduate of medical college in a long time ago. And if you're talking about interoperability, without standards, you cannot have interoperability, period. And without addressing both the structure as well as the content of records, you will not get semantic interoperability. You can get structural interoperability. I will not like to prolong this impromptu request to say a few words. So with this, I will end. I will be taking a midweek session, I believe, on terminology, where I'll spend some time. I'll give some, show some demos. And no, JP, it will not be a 5-day program. It will be a much less shorter one. And I hope to make it short and sweet and interesting. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And thanks for honoring our request for the impromptu call. So with this, we are open to take some questions, okay? But we'll change the format a little bit, okay? We will take the questions from Zulip, okay? So this will also familiarize you with the tool, okay? And whatever answers we are giving, it will be persisting there, right? So if you have any questions in Zulip, in the general stream, I have put a topic as questions here, okay? I will share that in 2 minutes, but you can type in the questions there and any one of us will take that question and answer, right? And even if you want to speak something, like as a participant, you want to add some comments, please put in there. We will take that and we will request you to talk. So if there are any questions, please monitor them. I'll just bring up Zulip in the meanwhile. And I'll have to do a share. I'll do a new share. Zulip, share. You can see my screen.
Satyam, I think so. We still see the thank you slide. Yeah, now we see this Zulip.
Okay. Okay, so we are here, questions here. So let's ask questions. The first question is, what's the full agenda? Can you share? So Mitesh, the agenda is to get people started on FHIR. So get them to the FHIR basic concept so that they can navigate the FHIR world easily. So they should know the FHIR ecosystem. They should know the fundamentals of FHIR and how to navigate that. Now, session-wise, if you're asking for the agenda, we will be sharing that by Saturday. Okay. So it will be, and we have already shared the schedule, how it would look like, right? It will be 4 weekends, 3 hours per weekend. That's the schedule. What languages are popularly used around FHIR, Python, Java? The answer to this is FHIR is an interoperability standard. So if you think of it, it's more about how do you represent data and how do you exchange data. Now, from a coding perspective, you can use any language that you want because it's just a specification. The most popular one are the Java and the .NET Firely one. Python also, we have seen that it's getting traction, but the most popular are the .NET version and the Java version of it. Next, Mitesh, super helpful. Thank you. Okay, are we able to develop end-to-end integration solutions using FHIR at the end of all the sessions? See, the intent is to get you on. The intent is that you get all the necessary tools, all the necessary knowledge to build an end-to-end system. Okay. However, it's not the goal of a session to get a product out of you, right? So, but as it is a community initiative, what you can do is you can come up with a proposal. You can say that I want to do this turnkey project. I want to do this project, right? We can very well accommodate that in the program. Okay. So by the end of this 4 weeks, if there is enough traction and if there is enough interest, maybe you can have a weekly project that can lead into building a FHIR product. But primarily, that is not the intent, right? But if somebody wants to do it, we will help, we'll support. Is there any mobile app available for Zulip? Yes, it is available, Gagan. You can just download it from Google Play Store. Okay. Through the sessions, can we get more clarity on implementation workflow? FHIR class, do we have test FHIR server and test APIs? Yes. So see, we are having 4 weekends, right? And if you see, we are catering to population that is like technical, non-technical, clinical, semi-clinical, and all, right? So this is the population mix that we are catering to, right? So towards the end, right? So say, for example, session 3 and 4. Session 3 and 4 will become more and more implementation focused, right? When we come to that, we will definitely take FHIR APIs, how to test FHIR APIs, how to send a request, receive a request, all those things we will definitely take. But that will be in session, say, the 3rd week and the 4th week. Okay. And what is the next question? Which hospitals in India have started using this standard? Tahsin, I don't know where are you from, but in India, FHIR is mandated by Government of India. Okay. So if you know about Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission, in the Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission, HL7 FHIR is the mandated exchange standard. Okay. So any hospital, any health facility who is implementing ABDM, and today there are around, I don't know, some more than 1,000 health facilities, right, who are compliant to ABDM. So they should be implementing FHIR. Okay. You can check out, so just search on Google for ABDM adoption and you'll get the statistics. Okay. V2.x for message format, what does it mean? And what is X over here? So Sonia, V2.x, so HL7 is a standards development organization. It has it has plethora of standards, as Arun mentioned, right? So it has different standards, right? Version 2, V2, is one of the standards of HL7 stable, right? .x means different minor versions of version 2. So V2.3, V2.5, V2.8, these are all X. That is what X means. Okay. Hello, sir. I am an art graduate with zero knowledge on programming, currently working as a SaaS company on product trainer. Do we need to have a programming knowledge? It depends, again, Sudhir. Sudhir, it depends on what you intend to do. Okay. If you want to be a business analyst or say a business guy, right? In that case, you may not require programming knowledge as such, but you should be familiar with the terminologies that are there, right? What is a JSON? What is an XML? What is an attribute? What is a data type, right? So those things, right? So that is a common question that a lot of people have, that do I need to be a programmer to learn FHIR? No, not at all, right? Because there are various roles in health tech. And as JP mentioned, showed in that particular boxes, right? There are a lot of different roles which you can perform. You can perform the role of a business analyst, a quality analyst, a clinical data mapper, a lot of roles, right? Which does not require programming, but knowledge of FHIR. Arun Kumar, can we use any interface engine like Mirth Connect to implement FHIR? Definitely, most of the implementations of FHIR, which is there on any of the existing systems, right? They go with, and if it is just to do data exchange, they use interface engines, right? Mirth Connect is one of the interface engines, okay? But remember, to develop the full-blown FHIR APIs on an interface engine, it's a lot of work. But if you just have to translate one message format to other message format, interface engines are good. So it depends on what is your use case. Sir, would you give insights on FHIR implementation? Definitely, Abhi. We will cover FHIR implementation guides. Definitely we'll cover that. Srinivas, could you please provide Zulip server URL? I downloaded Zulip from App Store. It's FHIRindia.zulipchat.com. FHIRindia.zulipchat.com. Done. Okay. Arun, over to you for next 5 minutes. From here, Rajdeep Day.
Okay. It is really great to see such a expert in this platform, and I hope to get more knowledge and experience through the sessions. Well, coming from healthcare background and with practical experience, which I am going through in my daily work life, I have also seen healthcare professionals who are used to orthodox style of pen and paper for use of documentation. I want to know your comments, how to take it as a stepping stone and your views and how it will impact the digitization of healthcare services. It's a fantastic question for me to start. This is my 20th year within healthcare IT. Way back in 2004, adoption of an electronic medical record was a very big question mark beyond the United States. You compare that time to today, electronic medical records and the need of using electronic medical records is taught to doctors in colleges itself. So there has been a slow but sure transition from manual records to electronic records. And the second being is we as consumers of data now are demanding that healthcare data to be available on our fingertips. So you have to look at it from these two lenses of why there is a need and where are the places where integration is required. Jinju Joseph, how can we apply FHIR knowledge to non-IT person. For IT person, we can use it for implementing in applications. How non-IT person can use, as you told above answer, how a business analyst can apply. Now, Jinju, it depends upon what kind of business analyst that you want to become. Personally, what I have seen is when clinicians become business analysts, they understand the domain much, much more better. One of the common tasks that is done is where you convert existing data from legacy applications, etc., and convert them into FHIR. The second case is where you will have to learn, where you could learn FHIR is FHIR specifies resources which are very, very which are defined in a very, very specific way. If you can learn all these intricacies of how to implement FHIR, yes, there is a place for you. And to learn about this, you really don't need a great amount of programming knowledge. All you need to know how to read a JSON file or an XML file, which is a skill that can be easily learned. Any possibility of facilitating internship for FHIR, and it might give a practical insight and hands-on experience. Within this particular group, if any one of you can help Meena, please do let us know. At this point in time, do we have any kind of open internships? I am not aware of. P. Shrikant Babu, do we need to have any technical knowledge to learn this? Not very much. As long as you are able to interpret the data within an XML file or a JSON file, that should be good enough. Will you also guide about each resources, like which resource is used to carry which data, example lab information, etc. Praveen, yes. Please await. This is going to be one of the things that is going to be part of the hands-on experience. Ankit, hi sir, is it necessary to learn HL7V? When you say HL7, I'm assuming that it's HL7V2 to learn FHIR. Absolutely no. FHIR, if you are new to learning healthcare standards, you can learn FHIR standards directly. But if you come from the V2 world, you understand FHIR from a very, very different perspectives. A different perspective. I have seen practitioners who learn FHIR first and then learn V2, and majority of us come from the V2 world. Do you think FHIR still complicated already complex health system or simplified it? At resources level, looks easy, but on a higher level, did it complicate further? I will use the analogy what Graham gave to answer this particular question. To get into FHIR, it takes you less than an hour's time. But to become valuable within the FHIR community, it does take some time, right? And the same thing is in terms of implementation also. FHIR is a standard that has evolved for the current web standards. It has not complicated things. It has, as a matter of fact, made things very easier. Probably you will understand this in session 1 itself. Also, this include implementation so that I can, I call start coding as well. I am not able to understand this question, Praveen.
I'll take up. Okay. Thanks, Arun. We have just 2 minutes left. Okay. So we will answer all the questions. Don't worry. Keep your questions coming in. Okay. So we will, while the official curriculum that we are trying to do is weekends, right? This chat group is available anytime. Okay. If you have any doubts, any questions, please put in. And there are around 1,000 plus members in this group, right? So definitely you'll get the help. Somebody will help you out, right? If you want to do implementation, form a work group, form like a 4 or 5 people's group. If that is there, we will be happy to guide you. Okay. So that is Praveen, that is an answer to you. Get 4 or 5 people's on. Okay. Be ready. okay, we can guide you. All right. So thanks everyone for joining in today, and hope that Saturday you get started with your FHIR journey. Okay. Please make sure that you are on time, because we will start exactly on time and end exactly on time, right? So thanks everyone. And if your colleagues, your friends have not, for some reason, got the invite, or they have missed it, or they have not accepted the Zulip link and all, please help them have the link for the next session. With that, thank you for joining. Thanks my panelists, JP, Arun, and Selva Kumar for helping us out. Thank you, SBB sir, for joining in, and thank you, Dr. Chandil. See you on Saturday, 11 a.m. Till then, if you are in Karnataka or in any state where voting is going on tomorrow, please go and vote. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.